Alright, so I noticed a lot of you lovely new faces have come here from the last video I made on Do Not Take This Cat Home. So what I discovered was, after that one ending, the game doesn't open the same anymore. So we're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that I felt like going out. And I am actually glad that I did. And now it's not raining anymore. The weather is absolutely perfect today. Unlike the last video, where if you're new to this channel, hi, hello, welcome. You can find that one in the eye icon, or links in the description to go play the game yourself. So yeah, that's a good sign, right? The cat didn't kill us or eat us or anything. Maybe my luck is finally starting to turn around. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a lonely alleyway. And the sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. And you timidly enter the alley and walk toward the loose gravel. Oh wait, walk forward. The loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Meow meow! Finally, the sound source comes into view in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. And at the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, is a cat. Huh, guess that should have been obvious. Meow, is this the same one? Am I the same person in like an eldritch loop though? It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. Meow, it says. So, you look so familiar, right? Meow. Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for a standard black cat to look, after all. This one sure is a cutie, though. And just look, it's not glaring at you or hissing at you for getting this close, like other stray cats have in the past. It's just sitting there patiently, waiting for you to do something. Well, obviously we're going to save here and not take this cat home. Sadly, as cute as the cat is, you'd never take this thing home with you. You just can't take it home with you. You're a responsible adult. Meow. You are, with rent and bills to pay, not to mention you need to buy food. There's no way you could take this. Is this the same ending? Is the cat getting mad at me? Oh, I have more options. You're not ready. Oh, it's an entirely different scenario. Okay, so I'm gonna just abandon it. And don't look at me like that. What do you mean? I'm not abandoning a cat. I'm abandoning an eldritch horror that wants to eat my flesh. Oh, I'm sorry, because it's cute? I'm supposed to take it with me? I don't think it's a good idea to get the cat's hopes up of having someone look after it when you're not willing to commit. What if it gets attached and somehow tracks you down back to your home? Wait, what did that say? You'd never get away from it then. Sorry, see you around, I guess. You stand up, the cat watching your every move. You make it halfway out of the alley when the cat meows almost pitifully at you. Oh, don't make that face! No, we have to be strong. For the sake of the ending, we need to be strong. Nope, you need to nip this in the bud and get on with your day. So it's best for the both of you. You leave the alley and continue on your way. Wait, what was I doing? In all the excitement of dealing with your furry dilemma, you'd forgotten that you still hadn't decided on what you were going to do with your day off. Oh, there's so much. Let's go to the dog park. I'm going to pet some puppies instead. You decide to take a stroll in a park or something. The only one within walking distance is a nearby dog park. You think it'll make you feel better. First, you get to see a cute cat today. Now you get to see a cute doggo. Several of them, in fact. The park is bustling with owners and their canine companions. Playing frisbee, fetch, running, jumping, even napping. Such cuties. Whatever. Like you'd want anything to do with these. Wow, excuse you. All puppies are adorable. All dogs are forever puppies. Much like all cats are adorable and cuddly. You didn't think that. You decide to move on. The dogs are all so adorable. You want to pet every single one you come across. But you know not all owners are cool with strangers just walking up and manhandling their pets. That's a life lesson for you. Don't just pet a dog because you see a dog. Not all dogs appreciate it either. So you stroll around the path, trying to exude a welcoming aura that will beckon one of these cute doggies to you. Just picture me, like, in a park, be like, hey, hi puppy, come here, come. No, yeah, I'll pet, I don't have snacks. You don't have to wait very long. Oh, it's adorable! You stop as the smallest, cutest puppy you've ever seen scampers up to you, blocking your path. Leave the... None of these. Well, no, be strong, none of these. You, yes, you leave. Leave the dogs. Now what? I guess I'm gonna go watch a movie, because all the dog options were like, abduct the dog, harm the cute... Even for the sake of endings, I'm not gonna do that. That's okay, though. You're not exactly a fan of the crowds, and nothing ruins the experience of watching a new movie for you than a noisy audience. Go to the old theater. I love the vibe of old theaters, especially if I'm like the only one in there. You eagerly buy your ticket from the kind old man in the booth and head inside. It's barren of any trace of other people, and the decor looks like it hasn't changed since the 80s, maybe even the 70s, but that's what you were counting on. I consider buying some popcorn, but I can't help but be concerned that everything at the concession stand might be expired. Well, they would still be having, like, you know, expiry dates and keep doing the upkeep. You move on and walk through the halls, finally locating the theater designated on your ticket stub. As expected, the theater your movie is playing in is completely empty. Perfect. You pick a spot right in the middle, even counting the seats and taking into consideration the gap of the staircases. As you settle in, the dim lights fade away, leaving the room pitch black for a few seconds. Before the screen flickers on, no commercials or trailers pop up, the movie just begins. Pleased, you shrug and let yourself get immersed in the opening scene, but just as you're getting into the premise, the doors open behind you, momentarily casting light into the room and ruining the atmosphere. You hold in a frustrated sigh. It's a public establishment, after all. The place can't exactly afford to stay open if you're the only customer. You try to refocus on the movie, but you sense the new presence slowly shifting around the theater, before heading in your general direction. What? Oh, of course. Of course. You gape in utter disbelief as the stranger shuffles down the aisle, only to sit right in front of you. There's no one else here, and plenty of places to sit. And the stranger is also unusually tall. Even with the stadium-like arrangement of the seats being on the somewhat steep incline, they are completely blocking your view. Move to another spot. I'll just shift over a couple seats. You don't want to risk escalating the situation further. This whole thing is already making you uneasy, and why would they choose to sit right in front of you? Surely they know you wouldn't be able to see past them. Plus, there's so many seats. What's the harm in taking a different one? Shaking your head with a passive-aggressive scoff in the stranger's direction, you reluctantly pick another, less perfect seat in the theater. But as you settle down, the strange person gets up, only to once again sit down in the seat directly in front of you. Power move, sit on their lap. If they want to be in your vicinity so much, sit on their lap. And then, cover their mouth. You look around somewhat helplessly as if waiting for someone to silently agree with you about how odd all this is. Or at least inform you that it's all an elaborate prank. But there's no one else here with you. That's how you've always liked it, but you can't help but think that maybe it would be nice to have someone else here, if it meant not being alone with this weird jerk. I guess it's time to confront the stranger. You hate confrontation, but you can already feel your palms sweating, your throat's closing up, and your body starting to shake. You've always been more of a flighter than a fighter. But you paid for this ticket. You've wanted to watch this movie for ages, and now this total stranger has ruined the entire experience for you. You're all alone in this theater. There's no one who will help you if something goes wrong. But you're angry enough that you ignore the signs of your body begging you to put up as much distance as you can between yourself and the stranger. You stand up, even standing higher up on the incline. The stranger is still at least a head taller than you. What if I sat on, the front row? He'd have to stand in front of me, and then it's even more obvious. I mean, him getting up and, following me is obvious. The movie continues to play in the background, but you feel as if a hush immediately falls heavily over the theater at your movement. As if you can sense the stranger anticipating what you plan to do next. You square your shoulders and force a little bass into your voice. Oi! The effort makes your words come out more harshly than you intended, like a sudden vicious bark, but you figure they deserve it anyway. You're being a real jerk, you know that? Just what are you playing at, huh? You trying to piss me off? You want to go, punk? I'll take you down! The silence that follows your words is deafening. So much so that you glance at the screen only to find that the movie has paused. Your attention is ripped back to the stranger in front of you as they shift slightly, like a small animal desperately They're trying desperately to anticipate the moves of a predator. You don't move an inch. You don't look away. You don't dare blink. Instead, your eyes widen as the person's head turns, then turns some more. Then turns more beyond what should be possible, neck bones cracking to face you directly. You can't move, with glowing eyes resting above a wider grinning mouth, gaze down at you. The stranger opens their mouth, and what comes out is something impossible to comprehend. Nya! 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 The voice is endlessly deep and creaks like a weighty door, foreboding and oddly melodic, alluring, but also snaps you out of your terrified trance, and before you know it, you're already at the door. Again, sit on his lap. Let him. I guess he would break your neck at that point. You run through the halls of the empty theater, heading for the exit. You feel something watching you from behind, but you're too afraid to look. The exit is now in sight. You sprint forward and burst through the doors. You look around frantically and spot the crowded cinema across the street. People, that's what you need. Safety and numbers and all that. Without thinking, you rush into the street when a sinking sensation crawls down your spine, compelling you to look behind you. Don't look behind you. Don't look behind you. No harm, no foul. Let's see. Despite your resistance, you feel your head turning to look back of its own accord while in the middle of the street. You catch a glimpse of a grotesque-looking person standing behind glass doors of the old theater, watching you intensely, cradling something in their arms, something familiar. Am I getting isekai? Oh shit! Okay, a glimpse is all you get as a truck speeds forward and crashes into your body. Alright, what ending is that one? You're killed on impact, your body splattered across the road and crushed further under the heavy tires. Ending 16. Poor screening arrangements. Alright, let's go back there. Let's just cross the street. Go to the new cinema. Refusing to even risk a peek over your shoulder, you rush across the street to the new cinema. You didn't realize that it felt like you've been surrounded by some kind of dreadful pressure, until it very suddenly vanishes, leaving you feeling more than a little shaken. But at last, breathing comes easier. You think it's within your best interest to repress everything that just happened. Yeah, deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming. You join the long line outside the new cinema, and by the time you've reached the ticket booth, you just want to get inside. So you pick a movie at random and take your ticket from the tired-looking teenager manning the booth. The decor is chic and sleek, and the inside is bustling with people. It's not what you're usually into, but it's kind of nice not being alone after what we just went through. Even if you feel a little lonely watching families and groups of friends laughing among themselves, you get some popcorn. But the lines at the concession stands are long, and the prices are criminal anyway. You go through the halls, and follow the signs to the theater, designated on your ticket before heading inside. You sigh at the sight of the absolutely crowded theater, and you head towards a seat only to be told by the person next to it that it's being saved for someone. This happens a few more times before you finally manage to get yourself settled in a seat, annoyingly off-center to the screen. But the screen is at least visible, if not a little too close, so you grit your teeth and bear it. The light fades out, but the chatter doesn't. And the rest of the audience seems content to talk through the commercials and even through the trailers. That's fair. Commercials and trailers, you can totally talk through. Especially commercials. Like, come on. It's a movie theater. It's not like... That's the thing you do talk about, where you go like, oh, I'm excited for that one. You figure the chatter will stop when the movie actually begins, but it doesn't. It doesn't even get slightly quieter as the opening scene starts to play out. You sigh out loud, not thinking anyone would hear you anyway. This is why you avoid movie theaters like the plague. Suddenly the screen changes, showing the face of a black cat. A familiar black cat. Confused murmurs fill the room, but then the cat on the screen meows. Okay, the sound is strange, and not at all like any cat should sound. Haunting, almost melodic, and layered as if made of multiple voices of different creatures. Creatures that would probably never say, nya, 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 nya. You sit in confusion, wondering why you haven't already gotten up and left to complain to the cinema staff, but then you hear it. It's scattered and dissonant at first, but among the crowd, people start to chant along with the cat on screen. Oh my. Soon the entire room is chanting in perfect unison, everyone staring intently at the cat on the screen. You're feeling strangely drawn to the screen yourself, but the compulsion to stare blankly like the others isn't strong. For now. Also, you start to notice out of the corner of your eye that some of the people in your immediate vicinity are looking at you. No. They're outright staring holes into you, even as they continue chanting. And they don't miss a beat as they slowly begin to frown at you in blatant disapproval. Their scowls deepen as time goes on, as if they're getting impatient. Trying to blend in with the crowd. Alright, we're gonna get caught in the mess. Try to blend in. Thinking fast, you look to the screen and begin to chant in tandem with the crowd. Nya, 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 nya. You feel the harshness of the collective gaze start to ebb away, the air in the theater becoming lighter once again. Yeah. You realize, you release air shakily, just realizing that you've been holding your breath earlier. You feel stuck. Surely you can't just up and leave now, not after whatever all that was. The people around you all seem fine now, but there's no telling if they'd get aggressive at you for even moving too much. Never mind outright getting up and leaving. You decide to let this run its course. Hopefully someone will come along, right? Or at least turn the film off. You continue to chant along with everyone. Nya. You start to feel lightheaded. You feel as if you could fall asleep, but your eyes don't feel heavy in the slightest. You try to look around and gauge the other's emotional state. And then, apparently, a different chant starts. But you can't seem to look away from the screen. You try again, but you're still locked into eye contact with the cat on screen. You attempt to physically force your line of vision away, to steel your nerves, ready to throw yourself to the ground if you need to, but your body only gets as far as tensing up for a moment before completely loosening itself again, making you lay back limply into your seat. You think you should be panicking right about now, but even your brain feels limp. Your thoughts, a vaguely muted pastel pink, airy, sickeningly sweet and loosely spun like cotton candy. You like cotton candy. You think you shouldn't mind your thoughts and body being like cotton candy either, so why get up and ruin that? It's nice here. You're more at peace than you've ever felt before in such a crowded room. Still chanting, you've never felt so aligned and in tune with another person, let alone with an entire room full of complete strangers. You're not alone. Out of the corner of your eye, the person next to you starts to sink back even further into their chair. They sink more, then more. Not like they're slouching or reclining, but more like, deflating. Their skin bunches up and wrinkles like fabric as their muscles, their bones, have started to disintegrate. Their eyes dim before sinking into their sockets. Their mouth, still attempting to chant, falls open over a cut-off nya, gaping as the word ends in an awful hiss, a final weak release of air. You muse thoughtfully about whether or not you should be distressed at the sight. But even then, the blanket of peace doesn't leave you. Suddenly, from the pile of skin and clothes next to you, you see a lump moving around. You watch in dazed fascination as the lump makes its way to the part of the skin where the head used to be, and out of the mouth crawls a tiny black kitten. Yeah, oh, it's adorable. Oh, it's so precious. Nothing wrong here, folks. You can hear the familiar hissing sound all around you now as a unified chant starts to fade, only to be replaced with the faint mewling of kittens. Finally, your voice is the only one still chanting, still human, and alone again. And you don't want that. You can't go back to that, not again. Please, not again. Just then, you go completely limp. Your body feels light, but it might as well weigh several tons, because you realize quite suddenly you can't move. Not an inch. You can't shift your eyes to look around, you can't even breathe, but somehow, the chant continues to creak weakly from your mouth. A few kittens come forward and perch themselves on the chairs around you, watching your sinking body, mewling as they wait for their youngest sibling to emerge from you. Dozens of glowing eyes peer down at you. And as your eyes start to cave into the sockets of your softening skull, you manage to make out the silhouette of a familiar cat perching on the seat right in front of you. And your vision finally fades, and as that same hiss of air expels itself from your mouth, the last thing you sense is something small and alive shifting eagerly under your skin. Ending 18. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! If it's your birthday, happy birthday! Okay, well, I think we got time to probably find one more ending. Let's see, what if we leave? This is too weird, I need to get out of here. Gathering your courage or perhaps putting your fear to use, you stand up, fully intending to leave the theater. When everything comes to an abrupt stop, all the chanting stops, even the cats chanting on screen. You tense and risk a glance around the theater. They're all staring at you. Every single one of them. They're not moving. They're not even blinking. You swallow, your throat suddenly dry, even though a nervous sweat completely soaks through your clothes. And you highly doubt that sitting back down will fix the situation. Your legs are shaking under the audience's unnaturally intense scrutiny. But you force yourself to step forward and forward and forward until you finally reach the end of the aisle. You feel their collective gaze, even worse, on the staircase. All their heads have turned uncomfortably to look to the left to look directly at you. The screen illuminates their faces, making clear their blank scowls. They seem even more upset than they had been minutes ago. Identical frown lines digging between their brows. You keep going. The heavy atmosphere becoming more and more oppressive with every step. You're so tense with anticipation that you fully expect someone to grab at you from behind. But no one does. You don't hear any of them even get up, and you exit the theater holding your breath as the doors close behind you. You briskly walk through the halls, putting as much distance as possible between you and that theater full of people. Finally reaching the lobby, you just barely manage to catch yourself from falling to the floor as you gulp in huge gasps of air. You expect to feel relief as your breathing calms, but you feel a lingering sense of dread that only spikes once you finally notice it. As well as its source, you look up and your stomach sinks. What? Oh, hi. Whoa. Okay, hi. What's going on, you guys? Sorry, I'm just passing through. All the people in the lobby of the area of the movie theater. Everyone in line at the concession stand. All of them are staring at you. And they look even angrier than the people in the theater. You don't hesitate this time. You duck your head, avoiding eye contact, and you leave the cinema. And you ignore the glares of everyone in the ticket booths and the lines leading to them. You make your way home. Whenever you dare to look up at someone on the way, you flinch at the blatant anger, fury, and disgust on their face. You think you start to hear the faint sound of a cat's meowing behind you, or maybe a kitten's. It doesn't matter, you just want to go home. You reach your front door and fumble with the keys, cowering from the look of pure hatred on your neighbor's face as he stares at you from his door. Finally, you get inside your apartment and lock all the doors. You slide down with your back against it till you're sitting on the floor. Pant, pant, gulp. You allow yourself a moment to breathe. Now home, your heartbeat calms and your fear slowly bleeds from you, leaving you feeling strangely empty. You pass the kitchen, head to your room and slip under the covers of your bed, trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's all just a bad dream. As you fall into a fitful sleep, sure to be full of nightmares of glaring eyes, you try to ignore the ever-increasing sounds of cats meowing and yowling in the distance outside your apartment. Ending 17, Black Sheep. Hey, all right, my lords. I think we did some good today. We got a few more endings. All right. If you liked that, tell me in the comments if you want to see more of this video. I'm gonna try to find even more endings on my own time, obviously. But yeah, if you want to see more, let me know. And if you're new here, how did you find this video before the others? I'm surprised. Go watch the other ones. Hit the like button. Also, subscribe, please. Oh my god, it sustains me. I've made a pact with a deity of horror, and he's like, you need this many subs before the end of the year, I'm gonna kill you. And it's awful. It's so bad. He didn't even tell me, like, I'm not allowed to share the number. That's why it's really rough. We're almost there. Anyway, okay, bye!